Good day, sir. Now, today I will be discussing my OR case, which is the senile mature cataract. For the demographic data of my patient, Mrs. Jean M. SP, 50 years old, female. The admitting diagnosis is the senile mature cataract. The proposed surgery is phacoemulsification with intraocular lens or IOL implant on the right eye of the patient. For the final diagnosis, it was pseudophakia. Then the surgery performed is the proposed surgery, the phacoemulsification with intraocular lens implant on the right eye. So the definition of the diagnosis is that it is an advanced age-related eye condition where the lens becomes completely opaque, often appearing white or brown, causing severe vision loss. For the description of the surgical procedure, phacoemulsification is a method of cataract surgery in which the eye's internal lens is emulsified using ultrasonic energy replaced with an intraocular lens implant. Surgical positions, of course, supine position. For the nursing responsibilities, the following are the before the surgery, during the surgery, and the after surgery responsibilities. Under the before surgery responsibilities, first is we need to verify the patient identity, consent, and surgical site. And then next is explain the procedure in simple terms to reduce the anxiety of the patient. Then ensure the preoperative checklist is completed. For responsibility during surgery, assist in preparing sterile instruments and solutions, assist in positioning, usually supine with the head stabilized. Then pass instruments and supplies as needed to the doctor. Then after surgery, monitor vital signs and assess LOC, level of consciousness, then apply an eye patch protective shield as ordered, and then patient education. Type and side of incision. The incision is the clear corneal incision, and the site of incision it is made at the peripheral cornea. For the skin preparation, during the surgery, we've observed the first thing to do is that the patient was covered with a sterile cloth. Only the left eye and then the right eye was exposed because it will be the eye that we will be doing for the surgery. And then it was applied topical iodine on the patient's face, the part of the above the eye, the and then under the eye. It is started from inner to outer. Then I also put here the cataract surgery step by step. First is to put the anesthesia, and then usually it is done with topical eye drops. Then second is small incision in the eye, then lens removal or the phacoemulsification itself, which is the procedure itself, and then 4 is intraocular lens implantation. Next is there is no stitches needed because it is a minimal minimal uh, minimal surgery only, minimal invasive. And then usually the procedure typically takes 10 to 15 or to 30 minutes per eye. For anesthesia, the type of anesthesia used was the local anesthesia, and then anesthetic agent was alkane and cyclocaine. For nursing responsibilities, administering the anesthesia, first is verify the patient identity, of course, then the surgical procedure, and if the patient has allergies to the any agents that we will be using for the surgery. Second is prepare and assist with the administration of the agents as ordered. Third is monitor and record vital signs. And then four is observe and report any adverse reactions. In this slide, we will be talking about the instruments used during the procedure. For our regular instruments used, the following are the phacoemulsification handpiece, capsulorhexis forceps, irrigation or aspiration cannula, IOL or intraocular lens injector system. The usage for the phacoemulsification handpiece, it emulsifies and aspirates the cataract lens material uh, for the specific tissue involved is to the last nucleus. For capsulorhexis forceps, it creates a circular in the anterior capsule to the anterior lens capsule. Irrigation and aspiration cannula used to remove cortical material and debris from the capsular bag. Then it is used at the lens capsule bag and surrounding structures. Then the IOL injector system, it is used to insert the intraocular lens in the capsular bag at the lens capsule bag. For the special instruments used, there's only one, which is the ultrasound phone or the phaco tip. It delivers ultrasonic energy to fragment the lens to the tissue which is the crystalline lens tissue. Surgical procedure. As I said earlier, it is a minimally invasive cataract surgery where the cloudy lens is removed using the ultrasound and replaced with an artificial lens. It will have a small incision. Of course, it is made in the right eye. Then the cloudy lens is broken using ultrasound and removed, and clear artificial lens is provided to restore the vision. It usually takes 15 to 30 minutes. The following is the order of the surgical procedure. First is anesthesia, and local anesthesia, usually topical eye drops or injection, is the given anesthesia for the surgery. And then the patient is awake during the surgery but pain free. Second is the making of incision. There will be making of small incision about 2 to 3 millimeters, and it is made at the edge of the cornea in the clear front part of the eye. Third is the use of capsulorhexis, which is the procedure to opening the lens of the capsule. The surgeon creates a circular opening in the thin membrane that holds the cataract. Fourth is the phacoemulsification. A tiny probe is inserted through the incision, and then it emits ultrasound waves to break the cloudy lens into small fragments and suction out the pieces. Fifth is the cortex removal. The remaining soft lens material is gently aspirated. Sixth, insertion of intraocular lens. A foldable artificial lens is inserted through the small incision, and it unfolds and is positioned inside the lens capsule. Seventh is the wound closure. Usually there is no stitches are needed because it is a self-sealing incision and the incision heals naturally. And then eight is the application of eye shield. The eye is covered with the protectional shield or a patch. The following slides will be about the nursing responsibilities: perioperative, intraoperative, and postoperative. Now, first is the perioperative nursing responsibilities: the assessment, preparation, eye preparation, and patient education. Under the assessment, it is important to assess the visual acuity of the patient because it will be the baseline data for the procedure. And then check vital signs, of course, review medical history, and identify allergies. For preparation, under that is to verify the informed consent is signed, ensure the correct patient and the right eye is marked. Instruct the patient about the procedure to reduce the anxiety. Then maintain NPO status if ordered. Then remove contact lens, dentures, jewelries, and makeup. For eye preparation, administer the prescribed medication. Under that is the mydriatic eye drops, psychoplegic eye drops, and then antibiotic drops to prevent infection. And then clean eyelids and the surrounding area of the eye. For patient education, we must instruct the patient to avoid sudden movements. Remain still during the surgery and expect a bright light but no pain. Now is the intraoperative nursing responsibilities. The following are the aseptic technique, course monitoring, assistance responsibility, and patient support. Under aseptic technique, the nurse should always maintain a strict sterile field, assist in the sterile preparation of instruments and the eye area. For monitoring, of course, monitor vital signs and oxygen saturation, then observe for anxiety, pain, or discomfort. Assistant, we should assist the surgeon by passing the instruments, preparing medications, and ensure that the patient is on its proper position. Then patient support, always provide reassurance for the patient and then instruct the patient to look straight or fix the gaze and avoid sudden eye or eye movement. Lastly is the post-operative nursing responsibilities, monitoring, eye care, medications, patient education, and the reminder to report if there are sudden discomfort or pain. For monitoring, monitor vital signs. Assess for what? Assess for pain, bleeding or discharge, nausea, and vomiting because it can increase eye pressure. Then for eye care, apply and maintain an eye patch or the eye shield. Then check for redness, swelling, or excessive tearing. For medications, administer prescribed medications such as antibiotic eye drops, anti-inflammatory, might be steroids and NSAIDs, and then analgesics if needed. For patient education, the do and don'ts. First is do not rub or press the eye, do not bend over or lift heavy objects, and then do not strain, cough, or sneeze forcefully. For do's, should wear an eye shield, especially during sleep, wash your hands before eye care, and then follow proper eye drop technique. For the things that we should observe and then report immediately if experienced is if there are experience of severe eye pain, sudden loss of vision, flashes of light or floaters, and increased redness or discharge in the eye. Now we will be talking about the immediate post-operative nursing care in the following slides. We have five patients problem and its rationale. So first, the patient's problem number one is the risk for eye infection. Ensure eye protection properly. Should educate the patient wearing prescribed glasses and avoid touching and rubbing the operated eye. Why? Because eye protection prevents accidental injury and reduces a risk of infection or trauma during early recovery period. Next is we should administer the prescribed eye drops, apply such antibiotics or anti-inflammatory agents as scheduled using aseptic techniques. Proper use of eye drops reduces inflammation, prevents infection, and promotes optimal healing of the surgical site. And monitor for signs of complications. Observe for redness, swelling, pain, and decreased vision. Early detection of complications such as infections or increased IOP enables timely intervention to preserve vision, and then limiting physical strain reduces the risk of IOP, which could impair the healing process or might cause complications. Patient's problem number two, acute pain. Monitor and assess pain. Evaluate the patient's pain level and assess for associated symptoms such as swelling or redness. Because accurate pain assessment helps guide appropriate management and detect any potential. Administer prescribed medications. Provide prescribed analgesics such as acetaminophen or ibuprofen as directed by the anesthesiologist. And then, of course, educate the patient on proper medication and potential side effects. Because, importantly, medications reduce pain, inflammation, and it adds relief and minimize medication dependence. Educate on non-medication pain relief. Instruct the patient on non-pharmacologic methods such as applying cold compress around the eye if approved by the doctor and practicing relaxation techniques. And then collaborate with the care team. Work closely with the anesthesiologist or the surgeon to adjust the pain management plan as needed. Plan as to adjust the pain management plan as needed based on the patient's response and recovery progress. Collaborative care is important because it ensures the patient receives an individualized approach effectively. Patient's problem number three, risk of increased intraocular pressure. Monitor intraocular pressure. Assess the patient for signs of increased IOP, such as severe eye pain, headache, nausea, or blurred vision, because early detection of IOP elevation is crucial to prevent further complications. Next is administer prescribed IOP lowering medications by providing it such as alpha agonists and beta blockers as directed and monitor for therapeutic response and side effects. These medications effectively manage transient IOP elevation by reducing fluid production. Then, taper topical steroids as advised. Follow the ophthalmologist's instructions to taper topical steroids if IOP remains elevated. Adjusting steroid use helps differentiate between steroid induced IOP, spike, and uncontrolled post op inflammation. Then, educate the patient on symptom regulation. Follow up. First is instruct the patient to report symptoms such as severe pain, redness, decreased vision, and stress, and then explain the importance of follow up appointments because timely recognition and intervention for complications empower the patient and support effective management. Patient's problem number four, impaired vision due to post-surgical adjustments. Reassurance the patient about visual recovery. It educates the patient that visual acuity may range widely during the first operative day and affect clarity. Providing reassurance helps alleviate anxiety and promotes understanding of the healing process. Monitor for corneal changes. Should assess the eye for signs of corneal keratitis or epithelial abrasion such as staining, redness, or discomfort. Identifying changes early ensures proper management and reduces the risk of complications. Apply prescribed eye drops. Apply prescribed antibiotic and anti-inflammatory eye drops using aseptic technique according to the schedule. Eye drops help prevent infections. Educate on post-operative care. Teach the patient to avoid touching or rubbing the eye and to wear protective glasses. Proper eye care reduces the risk of injury and ensures early detections of any further complications. Patient's problem number five, risk for corneal dryness. Educate or avoid environmental triggers such as smoke, dry or dusty or AC environments. Reducing exposure to environmental irritants helps prevent dryness and irritation. Promote regular screen breaks. Encourage the patient to take regular breaks from screens such as computers or phones. Frequent breaks reduce strain on eyes and alleviating dryness and enhancing post-op recovery. Then recommend dietary adjustments. Advise the patient to follow a healthy diet rich in omega-3, omega-6 fatty acids to support tear production and reduce dry eye symptoms. A nutrient-rich diet improves eye health and may help in managing dryness. Encourage protective measures. Suggest wearing glasses with contact lenses and using sunglasses outdoors to shield the eyes from wind and sun. Emphasize maintaining good eyelid hygiene. Protective eyewear reduces irritation that caused by environmental factors, and clean eyes minimize the risk of infection and promote healing. That will be all for my OR case presentation. Thank you, sir.